Shake. Backpack, 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 backpack. Policeman, policeman. Oh. Dolphin trainer, dolphin trainer. Dolphin trainer! Dolphin trainer! Backpack! 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 Oh!
Family. Some of you have seen my parents these last few days also. They're wonderful. But nobody's perfect and no family's perfect and no story is perfect. So my dad is a minister and he traveled a lot when I was little. Like 3 weeks out of 4 he'd be on the road preaching in different churches around Canada, the United States, and around the world basically. In middle school, people really took it upon themselves to let me know that they thought I was really ugly. That's how it started out. And the kids at school were really mean to me. And they would, beat me up and throw garbage at me. They would throw their leftover food at me. They would tell me all the time that I was ugly and that I was fat and that I looked like a guy and that nobody liked me and that I was a loser and all of this stuff. And that was really hard. And then I'd go home and my brother, both my brothers by that time and my sister would tell me that nobody liked me, that I was a loser, that everybody hated me, that I was a liar. I think anybody can know that when you hear something enough about yourself, you start to believe that it's true. And my mom could tell me as much as she wanted that I was beautiful, but moms just say that. Like moms say stuff, you can't really believe what they say. And because to a mom, any kid is beautiful, like I'm her kid, so you can't trust. And I believe that was true about myself. And so then I spent the first several years of high school so insecure, and I didn't make any friends because I didn't think I could make friends. I didn't think anybody could like me. And I certainly didn't want to pursue what I felt God calling me to do because that would mean being in front of people all the time and having them look at me. And I knew in my heart that when people looked at me, they thought, man, that girl is so ugly. I actually felt sorry for people who had to look at me because I felt that it must be so terrible for them to have to look at something so ugly. And then I heard a story that was very interesting to me, very personal. And this was partway through grade 11, I guess. And it's in Genesis chapter 32. But he rose up that same night and took his 2 wives, his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed them over the ford. This is talking about Jacob. If you don't know the story of Jacob, he's a twin, and he was born grasping onto his brother's heel. And he was named Jacob, which means usurper and liar and cheater. And all through Jacob's life, we see him going around stealing things and lying and cheating and just generally being a bad character. And so we know from the Bible, as well as anybody knows, that you become what you believe you are. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. The man, we know represented in Scripture, is the Lord, or Jesus, and he would have appeared to Jacob as an angel, but we find out later in the story that it was God, so just keep that in mind. And when the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and Jacob's thigh was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, "Let me go, for day is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you declare a blessing upon me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" And in shock of realization, whispering, he said, "Jacob." And then the man said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have contended with God and with man and have overcome." That was very interesting to me at this time of my life. That Jacob, who was all of these terrible things, could contend with God and not only live and overcome and stick it out long enough to get a blessing, but God changed his whole name, changed his whole identity from this terrible thing that he was into Israel, which is a name of promise and that has a future and has a destiny. There was no future in being a liar and a usurper. That was just a dead end for him. But to be Israel, there's a promise in that. There's something better for you down the road. And so that impacted me so much. And I started to think about it. Maybe as ugly as I am, maybe as worthless as I am, maybe as unlikable as I am, I could wrestle with God and I could become something different than what I am. See, when God created us, he didn't create us to be the bad things we become. God has a destiny and a plan for my life, and he has a destiny and a plan for your life. And we know from Jeremiah that it's a good plan, and it's full of hope and promise and a future. So those things that we believe about ourselves, those are lies. That's not who we're created to be, and that's not how God sees us. And so my story isn't unique, although it varies for different people, but I think every one of us has the opportunity to have picked up bad names for ourselves along the way. Some of you maybe were told that you're stupid by teachers or by your parents or by the other kids at school. Maybe some of you got the ugly and fat thing like I did. Some of you got the failure thing. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never be anything. And then as you get older, they can get a little different, and whatever is the slang that is used here in Hawaii, people will call you a slut or whatever that would be, or a player. The thing is that that's not who God created you to be, and the enemy understands how important it is for us to know who we are in God. The enemy knows that if you understand who God's created you to be, that there's pretty much no stopping you. And so he works, I think the thing he works hardest on from the time that we're little is to make us believe that we're something other than what we are. And as we were all worshiping tonight, I had a real sense from the Lord that there are a lot of you who want to be closer in your walk with him, and you want to be more intimate with God, and you want to be used of God to impact others and to be a blessing. But you think, like I thought, and like Jacob thought, that because of who you are, you're just lucky to be saved. And that's all you can expect from your life. Like, you'll squeak into heaven and hope that nobody notices you there, because if they knew who you really were, they might kick you back out again. But that's not God's way.